Okay, so we are still solving systems of equations. This is going to be part 2, elimination. So we did part 1, which was substitution. We covered types 1 and types 2 so far. So we're not going to change that. We're not going to go back and make any new rules about what we've already done. It's still going to be if you have two equations that both start with y equals or x equals, then you're going to set them equal to each other because that's a type 1. If you have only one that starts with x equals or y equals, then you're going to substitute because that's a type 2. So we're going to start today with a type 3, which is if the x's or the y's are a zero pair. And we're going to add the equations. So if the x's or the y's are a zero pair, I'm going to go back and underline zero pair because that's the important part there. If they're opposites, then we're just going to add the equations together. So it's going to look like this. Example 1. 3x plus 4y equals 19. And 7x minus 4y equals 31. So we can see already that neither one of these start with x equals or y equals something, so we know it's not type 1 or type 2. So then we look at the x's and the y's individually. When I look at the x's, I see that I have a 3x and a 7x. Clearly, those are not opposites. So when I look at the y's, I have a positive 4y and a negative 4y. Those are a zero pair. This is my zero pair. So since those make a zero pair, then this equation becomes very simple. All I have to do is just turn this into a giant addition problem and add. So first I have 3x plus 7x is 10x. And then I have a positive 4y and a negative 4y. That's the zero pair. Since they're opposites, that means that they cancel. And then I bring down the equals, and then I add 19 plus 31 is 50. So now from here, I have a very simple equation to solve. All I need to do is wall floor, and then to get x by itself, I'll just divide both sides by 10. So that on the left side, the 10's cancel, that leaves x. And then on the right side, 50 divided by 10 is 5. So now, just like all the equations that you've done up to this point, you know that x equals 5 is not the final answer. The answer needs to be in the ordered pair. So to get that, we're going to take this x equals 5 and plug it into either one of those equations. It doesn't matter which one. If I take that first equation, then instead of 3x, it becomes 3 times 5 because we just said that x equals 5. And then plus 4y equals 19. So now from here, we simplify. We multiply 3 times 5 is 15. and then bring down the plus 4y equals 19. And then it's well for solve. So I subtract the constant 15 from both sides. I bring down this 4y. And then 19 minus 15 is 4. And then one more wall floor. Divide both sides by 4. And then y equals 1. So then in the end, all I need to do is write the answer as a coordinate point, x comma y. So in this case, that means it's 5, 1. And that's a type 3. Okay, so now we're going to jump to type 4. So type 4 is if the x's or the y's are exactly the same, then multiply one equation by -1. So it's going to look like this. Example 2 is 6x minus 5y equals -32. And 6x plus 2y equals -4. So once again, we can see that this is not a type 1 or type 2. Neither one of them start with x equals something or y equals something. We know it's not type 3 because I don't have a zero pair already. The 6x and 6x, that's not a zero pair. The -5 and the +2, those are not opposites. That doesn't make a zero pair. So the next thing is to look to see if I have either the x's or the y's are exactly the same. Clearly we can see that they're both 6x, so that means that those are exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply one equation by -1. It doesn't matter which equation. If I multiply this first equation by -1, then remember that all multiplying by -1 does is it just changes the signs. So the positive 6x becomes a -6x, the minus 5y becomes plus 5y, and then the -32 becomes a positive 32. And then this second equation, we want that one to stay the same. So it stays 6x plus 2y equals -4. So then now, what we've done is we've created a type 3 system. We have a zero pair, the 6x and the -6x, that makes the zero pair. So those are going to cancel. So that now I can just create my giant addition problem and add what's left. So 5y plus 2y is 7y. And 32 plus -4, or just 32 minus 4, is 28. So that now all I have to do to solve for y is to divide both sides by 7. And 28 divided by 7 is 4. And then once again, we have to take that 4, plug it into any of those equations up there to solve for x. Doesn't matter if I take the second equation, then it'll be 6x plus 2 times 4 equals -4. So that the first step is to simplify. 2 times 4 is 8. And then bring down the 6x and the equals -4. And then from here, I'm going to do the wall and floor. Subtract the constant 8 from both sides. So that I have 6x equals negative 4 minus 8 is negative 12. And then it's wall floor again. Divide both sides by 6. So that x equals negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2. So that the final step, x comma y, is negative 2, 4. Okay, so that's a type 4.